Every tragedy has 6 parts: a plot, characters, diction, thought, spectacle, and melody. Tragedy is essentially an imitation not of persons but of action and life, of happiness and misery. All human happiness or misery takes the form of action. Character gives us qualities, but it is in our actions that we are happy or the reverse. So it is the action, that is to say, it is the fable or the plot that is the end and purpose of the tragedy. We maintain therefore that the first essential, the life and soul of tragedy, is the plot, and that the characters come second. Third comes the element of thought, that is to say, the power of saying whatever can be said or what is appropriate to the occasion. Fourth among the literary elements is the diction of the personages, which means the expression of their thoughts in words. As for the 2 remaining parts, the melody is the greatest of the pleasurable accessories in tragedy. The spectacle, though an attraction, is the least artistic of all the parts. Tragedy, however, is an imitation not only of a complete action, but also of incidents arousing pity and fear. Such incidents have the very greatest effect on the mind when they occur unexpectedly and at the same time in consequence of one another. Let's take a look at the most important part of the tragedy, the plot. The most powerful elements of attraction in tragedy, the peripeties and discoveries, are parts of the plot. Plots are either simple or complex, since the actions they represent are naturally of this twofold description. The action is called simple when the change in the hero's fortunes takes place without peripety or discovery, and complex when it involves one or the other, or both. A peripety is the change from one state of things within the play to its opposite of the kind described. Peripety is also called reversal of the situation. A discovery is, as the word implies, a change from ignorance to knowledge and thus to either love or hate in the personages marked for good or evil fortune. Besides peripety and discovery, there is also a third important part, suffering, which we may define as an action of a destructive or painful nature, such as murders on stage, tortures, woundings, and the like. The tragic pleasure is that of pity and fear and needs to be produced by a work of imitation. The tragic fear and pity may be aroused by the spectacle, but they may also be aroused by the very structure and incidents of the play. The plot, in fact, should be so framed that, even without seeing the things take place, he who simply hears the account of them shall be filled with horror and pity at the incidents, which is just the effect that the mere recital of the story in Oedipus would have on one. In fact, to produce this same effect by means of the spectacle is less artistic.